All right, we are live.
Yes, we are.
Yes, sir. What's up, my friend James Cush from all the way across the Pacific Ocean on the other side of the world in Taiwan? What time is it out there?
Woohoo! It's 1 p.m.
1 p.m. All right, it's 10 p.m. over here. So we just wrapped up two games. Game two of the first round of the NBA playoffs. And yeah, let's jump right into it. This last game, 4 versus 5. Denver Nuggets versus the Los Angeles Clippers. With what? The Clippers winning by, what do they win by? Three? Five?
I don't have the stats with me, but yes, like I think it was like
They
five
won by
points,
three,
3 points. Okay.
105 to 102. Did you watch the whole game?
I watched the second half. I watched the second half because I woke up really early to watch the entire Piston and Knicks game,
Oh, nice.
which was really good. Which was really
Yes.
good.
Yes.
Another series that's gonna go to the distance. I think it's gonna go 6-7. I think
Mm.
the Clippers and Nuggets is another one that for sure is going to go the distance.
I feel like it should go the distance, but I feel like it also might end in like 5 games. I think
It's
the Clippers are just, they're the better team. And the Nuggets, they really need to be superhuman, especially Jamal Murray. He really needs to step up for them to win.
I think they're lacking the bench. I think this has been an issue, right? I think everybody who follows the NBA, who follows the Nuggets, know that ever since they won the championship, they didn't retain a lot of valuable bench player. They're lacking the bench scoring. Westbrook has been I think a helpful addition for them this year, but
Westbrook,
I
the
know
ticking time bomb.
it's a ticking time bomb. He's just, I think one ESPN pundit said it well. He's just being Westbrook, right?
God.
So take it as you will, but you know,
If I'm a coach, I don't know if Westbrook is a net positive or a net negative for me.
I think his energy is a net positive. His effort is a net positive.
Of course, those things are positive, but overall, after everything is said and done, do you still think he's a net positive in the end?
I do. I do. I think for the Nuggets, maybe not for the Lakers at the time he was there, but last year when he was with the Clippers, he was good, I think. And this year overall, I think it's been a positive experience for the Nuggets.
Yeah, I think it's funny, when I was in Thailand, everybody is a fan of Westbrook. I think people just love his heart, which I really, which I think we both agree, he has tremendous heart. But I just know that when he was on the Lakers, I hated him so much. Every night I would look up the stats and see how many turnovers did this guy have. And let's see, tonight he had 2 turnovers, not bad, but he has a -7.
I think to give him, I think to not to make excuses for bad decision in the on the basketball court or anything, but when you're playing under such rough like condition where the fans are against you, calling you West Brick, like I don't think that was an atmosphere or condition that's productive for a player, right? To
Yeah.
perform. So I think he was just in a bad position. It wasn't a good fit. You know, and I think it was Darvin Ham was the coach,
Oh yeah.
and I don't think he was being utilized well. I think Westbrook overall is still a good bench player.
Mm.
Um, that's why I feel like this season and last season is sort of sort of his way of getting back into the grace, right? Like people
Yeah.
starting to feel positive about him again. And so
He does
I
seem
think, you
quite
know,
sensitive. But I mean,
so
he
like,
wasn't even a bench player. He didn't even allow himself to be a bench player, I think, the first year on the Lakers. He was still a primetime all-star at that time, I guess, or maybe kind of
well, he just came
D-minus.
from Washington, right? Where he was a starter, he was the main focal point, and you know, he was still recording triple doubles.
Yeah.
So, you know, so it's explainable, you know, it's like it's understandable why he feels the way he felt. But I don't want us to be on Westbrook too long, but
Yeah, me
you
neither.
know, but I would say overall he's a net positive for the Nuggets, but I think it's the rest of the player that's not producing enough. You know, like Aaron Gordon is on and off. You know, Michael Porter Jr. is on and off. You know, they're just not consistent enough. It's too much on the Joker. I think the offense is like 80% on him.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, him and
everything is running through him, you know, and the body movement, the ball movement is not enough, I feel like.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
And
so
Aaron Gordon with the missed dunk at the end, wide open dunk, man. That's a critical moment. That is
sometimes you
unacceptable.
sometimes you just want to lay it in, but you know, he's such a prolific dunker, right? You think he it's just a normal possession for him.
I think he was trying to give it too much oomph.
Right,
He
right, right.
just messed it up. But at that point, I think they were down by one or
Thr-
something like that.
yeah, they were down by three.
They're down by
So
three.
it would have been wait, were they up or I think they were up by one. I think it would have extended it.
I believe that they were tied. He missed that, and then the Clippers went and made a three, and then they came back and made a three again, and then it was tied. But I remember thinking, man, if he just made that, they would be up two.
Right, right, right.
No.
That was a crucial but you know, Jokic with 7 turnovers.
Oh yeah,
You're just putting too
that's
much
crazy.
you're just putting too much on him. I think the offense is not it's it's not how should I put it?
It's not like the Celtics. Everybody is like a threat. Ball's moving around. Everybody can shoot.
Yeah, I mean that no that's sort of the reason why teams like Celtics, the Clippers, the Thunders, the Cavs, you know, you when you have a deep roster, that's sort of what's going to propel you to go deep in the playoff. You know,
Yeah.
when you're lacking that punch from the bench, you're just relying too much on the starters and you know people playoff is intense, you know, players are going to get worn down. You know, I think Michael Porter Jr. came out because he hurt his shoulder, and then
Yeah.
that's when Westbrook had to come in.
Right, right.
Yeah, so
But speaking of really good players, we have Kawhi Leonard, the Clippers, who had a superhuman game. At one point, he had only missed like one shot the entire game.
I think
Uh,
he was 9 for 10 for the first
yeah,
half.
he ended 15 for 19. I mean, this guy is just like a cyborg. 39 points. He had five assists, two steals, one block, three rebounds. But he just looks like he's chilling out there, man. He's not even stressed.
I'm I hope his body will be able to endure the grind. You know, he has been sort of in game shape, I feel like.
Yeah,
But,
for
you
sure.
know, but given for his past 4 years, right? So it's like you know, remember last year against the Suns? He was really good the first two games. And then by the third game he didn't play. And then
I don't remember that. Was he out after that?
I think it was 2 years ago. Oh,
Wow.
I think it was last year. Wait, because the last year, no, maybe it was 2 years ago because Last year was the Timberwolves and the Suns, and they swept them in the
Mhm.
first round.
Oh, I see, I see.
So it might have been 2 years ago, but it was one of those like he played 2 games and then he was out the rest of the playoff, and the Suns came back and won it.
Oh man. I know he's had the worst reputation for load management and being injured and
Availability.
man, but he's such a star too, you know, the fact that he took the Raptors all the way to a championship. I would say that's probably one of the hardest, that's one of the
I
toughest
think
championships.
like there's no question that he is a star player, right? He's a superstar player
You know,
when he can play, right? I mean, there's no doubt about that,
when
right?
he can
It's
play.
just about availability. It's not nobody's doubting how good he is.
I know, I know.
So
Um,
we'll see, right? I think if he's healthy, I think Clippers. I favor them winning this round. Um,
Clippers and what?
Clippers and Nuggets.
Right, but Clippers in how many games?
I think I'll give them 6, but if the Nuggets don't steal one, it can end in 5.
I'm thinking it's going to be Clippers in five. I'm going to go out on a limb and make a bold prediction.
It could be one of those series where every game is close, but Clippers gonna just edge out every close ones.
Another head scratching thing is, you know, the Nuggets fired Mike Malone like literally what 2, 3 games before the season ended.
It was
I just,
literally 3 games before the playoff.
yeah, that's really tough. You know, I mean, no matter what tension there was or whatever was going on, you want to go in there with your, you know, with your coach, with your leader. I mean, yeah,
I mean, from
but
my understanding of the management, they don't fire coaches too often. They own other sports franchise teams. Um, they don't. This is not something that they usually do. I think whatever's happening, behind the door is really affecting the team. It's becoming toxic, and I think that's why they fired him. They allow the new coach to come in, who I heard has the support of the players. So
mm, Rick Adelman's son. That's cool. Okay, so Clippers in six. I say Clippers in five.
okay, and let's go back. I don't know if you saw the Piston and Knicks game.
I did, I did.
What do you think about that series?
I saw the end. Yeah, it just looks like what's up with Carl Anthony Towns? I think he only had like 10 points or something. He seems very not involved. And, you know, Jalen Brunson obviously is doing his thing, 30 something points. Um, I guess, I mean, I know the Pistons had a whole collapse in game one, fourth quarter. I think they gave up like a 21-0 run, and then it looked like they were about to collapse again this fourth quarter, but they held out strong. I don't know. Cade Cunningham, what do you think about him?
I wasn't sure about him as a number one pick. I thought, oh, was he going to be one of those number one pick that was just average? But this year, he has really proven me wrong that he's the real deal. He has come to play, and I think the whole culture. I feel like the coach, JB Bickerstaff, gets a lot of credit for changing the whole culture from it. They are the first team to triple their win from a
That
year
is
before.
insane. That's insane, man.
Triple. At one point they lost 29 games straight last year.
I wish that could happen to my stock portfolio, you know, it's triple. But
You
yeah,
just have
that's
to hold on.
crazy.
You just have to hold on longer.
But yeah, Cade Cunningham, he looks good.
He looks
Um,
legit. I think he's gotten used to the NBA pace. He understands his body. He knows how to use his frame. He's agile for a 6'6". You know, he can rebound. He has the vision. I think
And
he's
he's
the real
handsome.
deal. Yeah, you know, have you noticed his eyes?
I think I
He is
have.
he is a handsome gentleman. But I think he is the real deal. I think they put together a good team. Somehow, some way, yeah, Detroit put together a decent team, and I think it's for Carl Anthony Town. I think he has to first of all demand the ball a little bit more. The coaches has to draw up some plays for him. He sort of just disappeared in the most of the game. He came out strong in the beginning, but toward the second half, he was non-existent. I think the players need to look for him. He needs to demand the ball. The coaches needs to be aware, or else why did you trade for him?
Yeah, he only took 11 shots for a total of 10 points. He didn't have any free throws, so that kind of shows like how non-aggressive he was. Yeah, I think he needs to step up for sure. You have players like Mikal Bridges taking 18 field goals. I don't know. I thought he shot way too much.
Right. So you have to understand who your first and second option is, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes as you could be a 1A, 1B too, right? And for Carl Anthony Town, he needs to just understand, demand the ball. If the coach is not calling your play, not calling your number, you're the one who needs to demand the ball.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like it's up to him, honestly.
But it's funny, right? Like he's always kind of had a reputation of being like soft or like meek, I
No,
feel like.
I wouldn't say that. I would just say he had a reputation of not using his body more on the inside. He shoots tends to shoot too many threes. It's sort of his reputation. I feel like that's more aligned with his reputation. He's just not using his frame enough.
He's a good shooter though from three.
He is a good shooter, but you are also 7 feet.
I get it, but there's got to be who's in the league who's like a 7 footer who can also shoot really well from three.
Jokic.
Jokic, yeah, yeah, he shoots sometimes and then he goes in and he mixes it up.
Yeah, you got to be somebody like sort of like Jokic. Um, like he is a really good 3-point shooter, but you have to punish people who are smaller than you.
Yeah.
I think he did that the first quarter. He was really using his body. He was posting up a lot more, and he was doing really well with that. And then again, he just sort of disappeared toward
I
the
didn't
end.
even see him do
Because
anything
you,
in the
you
fourth
didn't
quarter.
catch the first half, but he was punishing people on the inside.
Uh, Yeah. I'm surprised, honestly, though, that the Knicks are losing to the Pistons and having such a tough time. I thought it would be like kind of an easy series for them.
No, I think then that really proves why Detroit has the record that they have, right? They got into the top six. They have beaten good teams throughout the season.
To me,
Um,
they're like the East Coast version of the Rockets. Both are young team, no experience in the playoffs. They both have the Thompson brothers,
right.
the twins.
The Twins, yeah.
They're very
Both
super athletic
athletic,
twins.
very athletic.
Right, right. But damn, the Rockets got spanked so hard.
I mean, to play this bad and somewhat still in the game toward the end,
I guess so.
you can't play any worse than that. Like Jalen Green didn't show up at all. I don't. I think he's gonna go back and look at the tape. He's gonna play much better,
It's hard
and
though for these, this is their first playoff intensity atmosphere ever.
that's why I think now you kind of get the game. You got the feel of the first game. You got the jitters out. I think that you're just gonna expect what type of intensity the game brings, and they're gonna just perform better.
Yeah, I would say it's absolutely a must win for the Rockets.
I agree. I agree. I agree. It's a must win. You don't want to go to Golden State down 0-2 with a veteran team with, you know, like Chase Center, playing in front of Golden State fans,
Oh man, going up against freaking Steph Curry and playoff Jimmy.
right? And Draymond Green and Steve Kerr, they're veterans, right? They're like seasoned playoff champions. So,
Super veterans. I know. Um,
but a lot of people picked Golden State. I thought it was going to be a toss up. Maybe I'm wrong. Hopefully, the Rockets can prove me wrong that it can be a toss up series. But if it goes the way it is, it could be a Golden State Warrior winner for the series.
yeah, for sure. For sure. You think the Lakers are in trouble?
I think the Lakers are in trouble, honestly. Some people might not think so, but I think they're in trouble.
Yeah, yeah, I think they're in trouble for
I
sure.
think I think Timberwolves are way more physical than them. They know how to do the switching, and is not holding on to the ball when he's getting doubled. He's making the right decision. And if Nas Reed, Jaden McDaniel plays well, Rui Hachimura, AR, they got to show up.
I know. I heard the
And
stat from First Things First. I think Nick Wright was saying something to the effect of so the Wolves were 21 of 42 from threes. They're 50%, which is crazy. But even more telling was the fact that I think like 90% of the threes they took, they were just completely wide open or something like that.
I think the Lakers just didn't show up. They
Yeah.
didn't. They didn't show up, and Luka played well starting the game, but again, Luka is a defensive liability.
Uh,
So all those switches, people switching on Luca, exploiting him, that. And of course, I think for the Lakers to win the series, LeBron has to step up a lot more,
yeah,
and the
Lakers
role
are definitely
players.
in trouble. They need to win this next one. That was the biggest upset of the entire weekend, entire all of the first game ones, losing that badly on their home court.
Yeah, to lose that badly, you're right. I wouldn't say if Timberwolves won game one, it wouldn't be a surprise to me. It's how they lost that's more
Mhm.
surprising, right? Because Wolves are good. Wolves are not the typical six. Like the whole Western Conference is not a typical. That's why I was honestly a bit surprised how Memphis got blown out that bad. Because to me, they're not a typical eight either.
Right.
So to be blown out that bad is a little bit mystifying. But so to go back to the Timberwolves, it's just like they're not a typical six. I wouldn't be surprised even they won the series, right? It's just Lakers are being favorite right now. But if they don't make the right adjustment, Austin Reeve has to be that third guy.
We'll see what happens. Game two is tomorrow, I believe.
Game two is tomorrow, and the first one is going to be Pacers Bucks.
Oh, yeah. Pacers are whooping their ass too.
I think it might be over for the Bucks.
Dude, the Bucks cannot keep losing like this every playoff year in the first round.
If they lose this first round, there's a lot of talks where Giannis is gonna want to leave.
Yeah, I get it, but he's part of the problem.
Why would you say he's why do you think he's part of the problem?
It's his team. I mean, these are his results, so he's got to take responsibility.
They don't have enough good players around him.
I mean, they got Dame.
That was just not a good fit. Can we all just like
Is that still is the conclusion that it's not a good fit? Holy
I feel
shit.
like it's not a good fit. They just
Wow.
they just don't fit that well. And then for Kuzma to have a showing like that, that you're you're
This guy.
supposed to you're supposed to be one of those asset that helps Giannis. You're not supposed to be some tenth rotation player type of result.
I know. I thought he would be like the number three guy. I
Like
mean, he
honestly,
was
I thought you'll
good.
be number two when Dame is out.
Man, it's so bad. He only took like 4 shots in that whole game.
Yeah, and I think like I watched the Inside TNT, right? Inside the game. Like Barkley always says that you don't have to score. Your role might be a spot up shooter, but you can always do more, right? You can
Of
always
course.
grab a rebound,
Of
defend
course.
hard, block, like little things that might not even show up. It's the effort, right? Sometimes it's the effort that'll show up.
Grab at least one rebound, bro. Oh man.
I wonder what that net rating is like. Is it like -27 or something?
It was bad. It was bad.
So
Jeez.
I think the Bucks are. I mean, the Pacers are on the up and up. Honestly, to me, they're the number. They're like the third best team in the whole East.
You think they're the third best? They're above the Knicks then.
Oh, for sure, they're above the Knicks.
Wow. You can say
Yeah,
that so decisively.
yeah. Like Boston is way ahead. I feel like they're the consensus number one, and then
Mhm.
it's the Cavaliers, and then I feel like if the Miami Heat can play overall, I think they play pretty well against the Cavs.
The Miami Heat, man, they're really something else. How can they keep overperforming like this? I don't get it.
It's the veteran culture, right? I think they've been to the finals. They want they've been into playing it the last 3 or 4 years.
4 years.
They've been into playing it 4 years in a row. They
I
even
don't.
made it as the AC all the way to the final two
That's
years
crazy,
ago.
man. That's crazy. I don't
So
get it. I
so
do
like
not get
if
it.
if you're the Cavaliers and the Miami Heat can play you tough like this, I'm a little bit worried.
I know. But does it mean that the Cavs are not as strong as we thought, or does it mean that wow, just the Miami Heat organization, man, they really know how to somehow take it up a few levels during the playoffs.
I think it's a little bit both. To me, it's a little bit both that the Heat is better than they really step up when the game matters,
Yeah.
and the Cavs, they still need to prove it to me too that they're able to win at least two series for me to take them serious. They have to get to the Eastern Final.
Right.
Yeah, if
So
they can't even make it to the Eastern Final, it's a waste of a season.
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
if you don't even meet the Celtics in the Eastern Final,
Agreed. Agreed. Agreed.
like that is the least you got to do. If you lose to the Celtics, like there's no shame in that. Especially if they're all healthy.
Last question for you before we wrap it up. Who would you like to see? What would be your dream finals matchup?
I think it will be Thunders and Celtics. As a
Same, same.
basketball fan, right? As a
Exactly.
basketball fan, but
Yes.
I don't know whether what the rating will be better for. Like maybe it will be the Lakers versus the Celtics. Who knows?
I honestly I wouldn't even want that. I just think the Lakers are gonna first of all, I don't think the Lakers are gonna make it. And if even if they did somehow with a Herculean effort and performance from Luca and LeBron, I think it would just be like last year, like the Mavs and the Celtics, they would just get whooped.
I agree. I
I
agree.
want to
I
see a
think
good finals, man. I don't think we've truly had a good finals matchup. The Warriors and Celtics was good, but
it's
you
been a
know,
while.
yeah, the Nuggets beat the Heat. That was just feel bad for the Heat, they make it all the way and They have no gas left.
And then last year, right, Mavs and the Celtics. That
Right,
was
right. That was weak.
that was a really weak
Yeah,
series overall. It was like 5 games, right? If I remember
exactly,
correctly, it was five
exactly.
games. I think for this whole decade since 2020, there hasn't been a really good finals.
Mm,
Ever since that whole, like Golden State and Cavaliers,
mm,
that era of them meeting 4 times in the finals,
yeah,
and
mm,
then if KD didn't get hurt, I don't think Kawhi Leonard would have won that championship. I
yeah,
think we all agree that if KD didn't get hurt, they would have won that one.
for sure, for sure. It's crazy though, right? Like just like that, because of an injury, history has changed course. And yeah, all of a sudden now Kawhi is a superhuman, champion. I think I kind of feel that way about Giannis's championship, actually. I feel like, I mean, he earned it, but also that year, they barely beat what was it, like a James Harden-less and Kyrie Irving-less Nets when Kevin Durant stepped on the three-pointer line. So they barely
Right,
got past the Nets.
right,
The Nets
right.
only had Durant. If
And net
Durant
and
had Harden and Kyrie, it would be different for sure. You know.
well, I mean, we can say that if the Nets had them, I don't even think. I think Nets would. I think the whole landscape would be so different, right? If Nets
Yeah.
won the championship, I mean, let's agree that if they were all there, they would have gone to the final, and they would have whooped the Suns.
Right, right, right. Absolutely.
They would have
Absolutely.
whooped the Suns, and who knows, right? They might be all together still.
Right, right. But yeah, that's one of the biggest
It's one of those if,
failures.
right? And like, there's a lot of ifs every year.
Yeah, yeah. But no, that KD one, that's like a for sure thing. They're already in the finals. KD is injured. Even Klay Thompson got injured.
Right.
So, yeah, history
So it
changed.
hasn't been a good final. So I hope, like what the year Thunder had, with how good Celtics is, I think that's the dream matchup for if you're a true basketball fan. That's the
Yeah,
matchup you want to see.
yeah. You want to see the best teams, and we haven't seen the best teams in a while.
And honestly, like even if it's for some reason, if it's the Cavs, like in the regular season, the Thunders and Cavs matchup has been really good. Like when they played those 2 games, it was like the highest rating.
All right, man. Let's go ahead and conclude this. Game two's tomorrow. And yeah, well, we'll catch up again.
All right, so hopefully we're gonna see some long series. All I want to see is long series.
Same.
Every
I want to see some
series
game
go to six,
sevens.
6 or 7 at least.
Yes. Agreed. I'm gonna
No
stop it now.
blowouts. So like tomorrow, Memphis, please, for
I don't
please,
know.
please don't get blown out by 50 points again. Please.